It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to be talking about the current meta PvP team and how it could actually change with the release of the BTS cookie and Schwartz. So Financier is a big staple right now for defensive reasons and is one of the few that I think might actually be shifting out of the meta. And I'll explain why in a minute. As you can see, we're running decent damage resistance, some good cooldown, but also some critical resistance on our Financier. We are running critical on Clotta Cookie because the attack boost will be coming from Financier guaranteed, since that's how the skill works, no matter the attack power. We have high damage resistance, and we also put a little bit into our attack speed to try and have the animation go quicker. We have high damage resistance and some decent cooldown for Black Pearl to get that good squishy protection, but also some good cooldown to make sure her skills go off at the optimal time. Vampire and Insignia are always a good pair because of the free Feather Revive that Vampire has with the Magic Candy, which pops off the Insignia to heal the rest of the Cookie team. And that's why we also have a low damage resistance threshold on Vampire, as we're mostly focused on attack speed, cooldown, and attack power. And then our Cream Unicorn has damage resistance and cooldown focus, as we want those heals happening as often as much can be without Cream Unicorn necessarily perishing herself from vampires on the other team. So this is the current meta team, and I'm going to go ahead and take it into battle and show you what we're roughly facing against and show you how it does. Now, as far as the changes that are likely coming, I do believe that Schwartz is going to be pairing specifically with Espresso Cookie. And so the reason is that any BTS cookie that is being or is going to be ran is going to be providing stun immunity for the whole team. And if that happens, Espresso is actually going to be dealing more damage to the enemy cookies. So that is something that I actually plan to see happening just because of the BTS cookie's popularity. And it probably won't be in every team, but I think that that's something that could come to see fruition. In addition, people might also run that because Schwartz can also go ahead and do stun, at least based on what we've seen from the preview so far. As you can see here, that was ranked 77, so a very, very powerful player in the pure vanilla server. So for us to have not beaten them was mostly because they had a heavy focus on damage and not on healing. As you can see, they did not have a healer. They had some healing from Financier, some self-healing from Vampire, but overall they had mostly damage focus. And as you can see, they were able to out-damage our team just by about 100,000. Sorry, not 100,000, about 1 million to 1.5 million more damage. So that's really what was the difference here. But as you can see, our Clotta did more damage than their Caramel Arrow. So the setup that we have going works, and works well, but they had no healer focus. Therefore, that wasn't something we had to battle against. Now, if we take it against this team, they do have lower treasures, so this is roughly a guarantee that we should take the win at level 8 treasures. But they are running a very high meta team, so it could be a potentially interesting battle. As Caviar and Black Pearl are a pretty powerful combo together if you have them set up correctly. But as you can see, even sitting at the top 5,000 where we are, they are just overall not able to relatively compete because we can out-heal most of their damage. We do end up losing our Cream Unicorn, but overall we just outscaled their damage based on treasure levels, and that's proven here. Even though they had lower treasures, they still did do good damage though. So let's take it against another team, see what we fight against. This could be another team that's just not running a healer. We'll find out. And as you can see, they're not. So right now the meta is kind of shifting in a way that is very focused on a lot of high damage, a lot of DPS units, in the sense that they feel that their damage resistance is enough to carry them through, and that they don't have to fight a who heals faster, who heals better type of battle, and instead they're just using DPS to just try and push and barricade through the current meta and what we're fighting against. And as you can see, it's working very well. So the team that I'm running is one side of the meta, which is the lower master tiers, anywhere from Master 5 to Master 3. That is the team that's roughly being run, where anyone from the top about 4,000 and above is running all DPS units and is not actually focusing on healing at all. And it is a strategy that can definitely work. But as you can see, other teams that are not within the current meta, they're just getting completely obliterated by the team that we're running. Like, we're just able to hard counter them without any issues. So we can take them down without too much issue. Now, here's the thing I think is going to change, especially if people are trying to run a non-healing meta team. I believe that if the team was to change and Vampire is not needed because of no healers being run on certain meta teams, then I think that Wildberry will take Vampire spot, that Schwartz will take Financier's spot, and that the Espresso will take Black Pearl spot. Because what Black Pearl really does and does well is have healing reduction on the enemy team. If they're not running any healers, that's not really something that Black Pearl's going to do against. So that's why I believe that the meta is shifting in that way, is because Black Pearl has become such a prominent force in the meta that people are disregarding healing and focusing more on damage instead. And so that's the kind of shift that you're starting to see in certain high tier battles. Now, let's go through the rotation one more time, see what we get, and kind of give you the consensus of what's going on. So here you can see this person, no healers. Where these people, they have healers. So let me show you what happens when we fight a team that is focusing on a healer, that is running the older meta, that is running a healer on their team. And as you can see, overall, the defenses on Financier and Clotted, pretty strong. Cream Unicorn providing good healing, some damage resistance to our team. The first to die just based on damage persistence. Once Vampire goes down, which he does, he gets that Insignia pop healing our team, and Ree comes back. And as you can see, we can plow through without too much issue. Even though they have two great defenders, Clotted does a tremendous amount of damage as well as Black Pearl. So we were able to do well. And you can see their damage did amazing too, but we overtook it. And we were actually able to well out heal their overall team just based on our setup as well. So just know that that's the shift that's coming. People are not focusing as much on healers right now. And for that reason, they're going to more damage resistance, high-powered teams that are focusing on doing a lot of damage. So if we were to take our healer out and just go with a full damage team against another damage team, show you what ends up happening. The Insignia is going to really be the main focus of keeping our team alive, and the rest is just doing a bucket load of damage to try and push through. And what most of the teams are doing, they're running Vampire right now to A, get the back healers of other teams, but B, it pairs really well with the Insignia and the heals that come off Insignia, and so that's how it's pushing through and doing really well. Now, what we just did and the changes we just made, we're able to still outscale the enemy team because we took another AoE into battle, and that gave us the overall advantage. Now, granted, their Insignia is going to activate here, but we still have ours with 2 cookies available. And so even though they have a pretty strong hit here, we still are able to take the win. So that's the shift that's happening right there, is that people are starting to move away from healers because of Black Pearl. You can see their Vampire did an amazing job overall. And as far as our damage, we had better damage from our Clotted and some decent damage from Espresso before Espresso was KO'd. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments what you think. What are you moving towards? Are you going to stick with a healer? Are you going to try and forgo it with the new teams coming out? Are you going to go for like a heavy push instead with more tanky buff units? Like, what's your thought that you're moving into? Either way, thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.